Okay, hold on. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, it's inspired by dreams.shop. And we got a lot of new drops in there. You guys go check it out. Okay, it's Friday, it's the 31st. We all know it's a lot happening, like I always tell you guys. But today we're gonna kind of balance it out with the community as well as the entertainment talk. So I really want to start this morning off with healing energy to everybody, all the victims and the families in the DC plane crash, and it's just sad, tragic, and some things it does have an explanation, but sometimes it's not the explanation people want to hear. And this is the reason why I want to start this episode off today. We're going to just start it off here with a few things that just been on my mind. And I know some people, they have their way about things. And, you know, people want to all the way shut down in these times. But like I always tell you, we need each other. And this is where I'm going to start this episode. This is where I feel like starting. Now, Donald Trump, I believe Donald Trump, he had spoke on the whole, on the plane crash, and he made a point by saying that, you know, as far as aviation and just the people that's going to be up there in the skies and the people that have these jobs at, you know, the jobs that are higher risk jobs, they have to be, you know, as far as talent wise and just intelligence, intellect, all of these things come into play when you're dealing with you know, other people's lives in your hand and dangerous jobs. And I had something, I feel like something he said in there, I think people are misconstruing this. Look, a lot of people are up to the point where they feel like they're shutting down, shutting out, and whatever Trump is doing, they're just like against every single thing. But you have to understand what the man is trying to say. What he's trying to say is what a lot of people have been saying in a lot of different realms of life right now, even in hip hop. Talent, intellect, these those things come with mental, that those all have to do with the mental. Now we don't know, and I don't want to point the finger at any people who fly pilots or anything like that, but what I could say, as human beings, we don't know where people's mental are at on a daily basis. And mental, and if you having mental issues, you don't, this is why I always tell you, we have to make sure the people are ready for what is yet to come. Okay, now when I seen the plane crash, that every time I see a plane crash, it kind of gives me like an upset feeling and a sad feeling at the same time, because you know there's mistakes made, and these types of jobs, they when something goes wrong, a lot of lives are taken, and we're hearing that nobody survived the plane crash. But mentally, there's something that you have to understand. Like if you're just on an everyday basis, if you're waking up and you never know who's the person, might be this, that's your partner, you work at, you know, maybe an ambulance or a cop, anybody in authority, you want to know that people's minds are ready for their daily job. And in these times, it's safe to say that a lot of people are dealing with mental issues, whether they're dealing with it through what they read or what they experience with their family, street violence. There's a lot going on. So when Donald Trump said that, it just goes to show that, you know, and he said it has nothing to do with race, it has nothing to do with, you know, people's ethnic group, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with people being there for other people, no matter what race, what color you are. So I really want to get off of all of these. It's a lot of race, like racial tension, and people pointing the finger, who's a racist, who. It's not about that. Right now, we need the best people, the most structured mindset people to be ahead. And those are the ones that should take form in these types of leaderships and dangerous jobs. And I'm gonna be honest with you, not just them. You know, this is something that's been on my mind. It's been a couple months now where I had seen the police academy, and it was NYPD Police Academy, just, you know, the new up and coming police officers that they were being, you know, hired or sworn in, however you would call it. And one thing that I did notice was their their presence, it just looked, you know, even though they passed these tests to get there, you know, I feel like I don't think everybody is equipped for certain positions in certain jobs. And I feel like people in authority should have they should be paid more, because now in these times, as much as people don't want to hear it, being a police officer, a detective, any type of authority work, it's just like going to the army and going to war. They deal with mental issues too. And these issues that people are dealing with, it doesn't, you have to have that same mindset to go to work every day and give it your all. And if you're not being compensated or paid, or you can't take care of your family, then you're not going to give it your all on an everyday basis. I feel teachers as well. Teachers, if you're going to be teaching students that's coming in there from a lot of students nowadays, it doesn't matter the age, are dealing with mental issues. And it's coming from the home. Teachers have to deal with that, as well as go home to their families and deal with what they have going on. They need to get an upper pay too. Because if you don't compensate people, technology is only to technology is not going to take down an officer's mental because they know a crime is happening. The crimes are happening so consistent on a daily basis. I don't know how a human being can keep up with that without having some kind of compensation and say, you know what, not only is this a sacrifice, it's worth it, but I'm sacrificing this job with my family and taking care of them. It's just like somebody going out to war, because the deaths they see and all the stuff that's going on, they have to take that in now and come back and try to present themselves as a regular citizen. Does that make sense to you guys? So we have to stick together and understand that, look, man, whether you didn't want somebody in office or not is not what this is about. It's all about people trying to be safe for each other. I seen another man, he get on there and said, you know, I don't know what his political status is, but he was just talking about, you know, just the vaccines and things, and how certain ethnic groups are not supposed to get this so much. These are things that the experts know. And we need more experts in these positions. Nowadays, we see more people being compensated for foolishness and nonsense. That has to stop in America. That is not the way things are supposed to go. Not saying to cut anybody's, but the people that's putting in the extra effort to save lives and be there for people when they really need it and when it's really detrimental to America and the world, these are the people that need, these are what the budgets are needed for. Because come on now, we need people in positions, because nobody, you know, and you have to understand the people that go to rescue these people and try to get it, they could get sick too, and they can pass if their mentals are not right. So it's all around, it's like a one big group hug that we need in America. And if we don't get that, then it's going to be patches of people just working within each other's, and nobody's going to get help, and we're going to end up in bad situations. Now, I don't know how those, you know, they said that the aircraft was flying a little too high, but all of this, it's not about pointing the finger, it's just knowing that, yeah, a mistake was made. A mistake was made. And the stronger you are up here and the more disciplined you are up here, discipline comes with a direction for you to say, you know what, I have to get back. It's just like every day is always going to be like your first day when you're dealing with those jobs. So we have to understand that the people out there that's trying to make things right and get things going where it is, yeah, there's going to be people in every system that's going to be, you know, crooked and doing things. And that when you find those people, that's when they get taken out of the system. But it's not going to work with everybody just shutting down and thinking, oh, let's just blame it on racists or this is that. No. No, 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 no. We have to stick together and understand that it's way bigger than that. I understand what the man said when it came down to talent and intellect. Those are the things, those are the leading forces that's going to bring America to where we at. And that's going to bring back the trust, ability for people to go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to the doctor today. I'm taking that flight. You feel safe. You're not walking on eggshells. So don't get mad because he's trying to do the best he could do at this point. We've seen a lot of things that we might have not wanted to happen, but yo, it's happening. You can't just run in the corner. You have to try to work with people and understand with their direction. Sometimes the blueprint that you brought to the table is not being used. Okay, so what? Now you have to look at their blueprint and try to see the best things you can get out of it to work and get this thing going. So get up off of that stuff and just always every single day coming on social media downing people and tell people what they ain't doing. Concentrate on the things that they are doing and the things that you feel like that's not being done. Maybe you should put something forward to try to help it go on. But at this certain point in time, this ain't no time to be pointing the finger about who's with who's not. We know who's trying to get things going. The people that's trying to work things out are the people that's working. That's how it goes. That's just how it goes. So that, I heard that and I'm just like, a lot of people, they're so quick when they see these headlines to point the fingers at people. But look, at the end of the day, people are trying to do the best they can do. Not everybody is a big billionaire or millionaires. Sometimes a helping hand has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with this. It goes back to, the person, the type of individual out there that's going to be, structured and stable enough to complete their job at the best of their ability. That's what it's about. You don't want to just have people in these positions just because you worked a job for 30, 20 years doesn't mean along the way you didn't have some mental issues that switched up your way of thinking, your way you work, and the way you treat and accommodate people. So if we don't stick together, the whole truth behind it is that we all take our little, and people could call it what they want, but we'll all take our little upsets and we'll all be affected if we don't understand this. It's not about race at this point. It's not about race. This is about big money, budgets, and survival. The things that we have seen on social media, the things that we're hearing, we see a lot of deception now being sold like it's gold. This is not what it's about. People are falling for deception because a lot of times, 9 out of 10 times, deception is going to be the easiest thing for them to digest, to say, okay, that's what it is. But when you have to break something down and you have to find a solution and try to work with people, even if you didn't feel like working with people, that's when it gets difficult for those low energy, low-minded people to operate. And that's what it's all about. If you still have a grudge about what's going on in politics, maybe you shouldn't speak or say anything on politics. Because the world, it's not a fair world, but at the end of the day, we try to do the best we can to help the people around us. And I think he has a great point with that. Looking for talent and intellect in people instead of looking for just the entertainment and looking for people that just look like they can fit the job or just pass a couple hours and feel like they can fit the job. Those are the people that's going to end up putting everybody's lives in danger because they don't have a sense of thought. They don't have a sense of understanding what their lives and who they are. This thing is deeper than people think. The mental health issues goes deeper than people think. You think it's just, somebody that's tied up in a strap jacket and just screaming at the top of their lungs. No, it could be that person not saying anything and he's a pilot and he has a whole lot of things on his mind and you don't even know what's going on and you back there giggling this and that and all of a sudden he just blank out and then things happen. So pay attention to the world and the people next to you. Treat everybody like your neighbor, because if you don't, eventually what happens is when that karma turn around, you don't have nobody to turn to. Pay attention to what's going on. Now, when it comes to entertainment, and I was reading up on this whole Young Dolph murder case, and there's updates in it. They're catching more suspects. So you see how it goes. Life doesn't play out sometimes the way we think it's going to play out. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer and that much more evidence and that much more research to get where they got to go. But at the end of the day, it's going to get solved. So now I knew from the jump, but it was never worth it. It was never ever worth it. It was never worth it. Look what's going on. Look what's going on, man. More people getting found. More people. You know what I wanted to bring to you guys? Did you guys hear about the YNW Melly's, his ex-girlfriend? She was arrested and they caught her, out of town or whatever. Look, this is how it goes. This is how it goes. Now, this is years after, but you got to understand, sweetheart, once you involve, look, this goes for the youth. This is a lesson to the youth. If you're dating somebody and they're committing crimes or doing whatever they got to do in the streets, you could be involved in it. Whether you knew something that was going on, and don't tell me you was taking a vacation. Ain't it school time for some of you people? Y'all should be in college or doing something like that. This is not vacationing like what we see on social media. You was running. You was running. That man, and I don't know as far as how deep his case is going, but it looks bad. 2 lives were taken, and now it looks like you're going to be fighting for your freedom. Because they're saying that you have involvement within that. I remember hearing that case. It dates back to, something about, him taking his friend's life and he said he didn't take it and this. But look, man, it's all to deal with weapons and the people around you. You won't have to point no gun at your friends or this and that. Don't we see, this is what's going on right now with ASAP Rocky. So let me just go across the bridge and let's go into the ASAP Rocky. Now, as far as ASAP Rocky and his whole situation, this case is way too messy. Now you got the guy on the stand. He is, you know, and this is not pushing what his claims away, but it's just that you can tell the type of people that end up in these type of situations, they don't know how to communicate well. So when they say they weren't, you know, this is what I'm talking about, the friendships, man. People just have people around them. You know, I don't know if they grew up together or whatever they had, but you know, him being on the stand and they going arguing back and forth. It was just a big mess. And then you got the cameras out there looking for Riri. This has nothing to do with Riri. To be honest with you, as a man, just manning up for my wrongs, if I did something that brings my harm into my family, or I have kids coming, that I don't want my wifey being there. I don't want her. She just has to stay home with the family. Babe, I'll be home soon. Because this has nothing to do with Rihanna. This is not a fashion show, and this is not any games. Rihanna was doing what Rihanna does. This has nothing to do with his lady. She's trying the best she can, but it's always, they're poking these cameras all in her face and all this flashing, and they want to see what they're wearing and how she dressed. This is somebody's life that's going on right now. At the end of the day, all of that stuff it can sometimes do good for a case, but sometimes it can do bad for a case too. Now, as far as ASAP, he has to understand, man, you know, be around the people you can trust so you won't get yourself in. Me personally, I think that they should have took the 6 months the way it's going, the guy being on the stand, the back and forth with the judge and his lawyer. It looks like a messy situation. But I don't want it to turn out where, you know, people start losing themselves within this whole thing. It's just it's a big mistake that somebody has to be accountable for, because then people, they got bills to pay too. You think lawyers just say, you know what, forget about this, let's just go home? No. Then people want money, so the more eyes on this is bringing in more dollar signs. So just know that for the future, man. You got to be around. If you have to pull a gun out or weapon out on somebody that you know or you claim to be a friend, or regardless of how it went and you guys fighting all the time, maybe y'all should stop this whole friendship stuff. Because the text, when they was reading the text before, it looks like you guys had a back and forth anyway going on. Like you guys gotta cool out, chill out all on that. Because the more money you make, the more detrimental it is for you losing your life. You have to understand, money plays a big part in a stupid man's head. It only plays a little part in a wise man's head, because it only serves for the things that he needs done. For another person's, in another, you know, a low-minded or low energy, low vibrational person's mind, money plays a part in everything they do. So that's when you fall in these types of situations. You should have been, especially you have 2 kids, you should have been left that whole crowd by itself. Leave them to do whatever they gotta do, whether they wanna imitate the gang violence. I don't know what these people are doing. A gun is a gun. It's been a gun today since back in the days. You know, it never changed. The only thing that changed about it got more powerful and it got more destructive. A gun is always a gun. It doesn't necessarily make anybody any tougher. These are things that are only supposed to be used in times of like you defending yourself and things like that, especially when you have a family, because whatever you do outside of your home could be detrimental to your family. Fellas, we can't keep putting these type of burdens on the females. If you're going to be out there doing crimes, this and that, don't bring that shit home. Because at the end of the day, your kids suffer and everybody suffer around you that love you. So the case is just looking messy, and I don't know where it's going to go at this point. At this point, it looks like it's probably, you know, at least I would say probably a payout in just a few months of probation, a couple years probation, because of not taking the first deal. But I don't even know if they have these type of offers in place for the man. I really hope he can get himself together with this one. Let me see. Shouts out to Celine Black, y'all. Salute, salute. You ain't lying. People don't know how deep that is. There's people out here, look, you know, I have a story that connects with. I'll get to that story, and then everything that you're saying is gonna connect with that. But let me see what else I had before we get into that. I don't want to get too deep for you guys. Another thing that I've seen, that this can go all the way left, you guys. The rapper Latto, she was accused of She was ordering an assault on a, you know, on another female. But what happened was that makes this whole thing tricky that people are not understanding is the other female is claiming that she was pregnant and that caused her a miscarriage. Latto, and to the youth out there, you can't go, look, especially with these females and fighting and things like that. On the female side, because a man ain't supposed to be putting his hands on a female anyway. So when you got this whole female back and forth, there's two things that she did wrong. Number one, you ordered the fight, meaning that you didn't do it yourself. You got somebody else or somebody to do that for you. Right there, that just goes to show you that that you can get yourself put in the same types of trouble. This is what they're talking about with the Diddy situation. Ordering hits, it all goes down into the same. Come on, sweetheart. And then you beat up the girl now. You get her beat up and you didn't realize she was pregnant? No, because you wasn't there. They're saying that you sent the people. So look, this type of stuff will end you in prison. You think that it's just going to be, it could be just a lawsuit. Not only could that just be a lawsuit, you could put yourself in prison. Don't you know that they charge some people for murder for things like this? So be careful of what you do and all this back and forth bickering. If it ain't that real or it's just social media, just keep it social media. Because when you go out there and actually think that you're doing something by sending somebody to go do that and them people go in court and take you in court, you'd be surprised how your freedom could be snatched away from you. Quicker than that mic, I'm telling you. All those dreams that you had dreams of being a rapper this and doing that, all of that be wiped away just because you made a wrong decision by sending somebody out there to beat up somebody that was pregnant and then go have the girl have a miscarriage. Wisen up. Don't you see what's people are falling? People are falling to lawsuits and they're falling to gun violence. It's deep out here, man. People don't realize what's going on, and everybody is running. You know, after they fall down now, they want the cure for that, and they want to run. Look, we are being poisoned. Don't you hear about the foods and the things that's going on in our communities? You think that just because things are turmoil, we're gonna get the best of foods or the no. When things are in turmoil, we don't get the best of anything. People are trying, you don't know how, there's so many different types of wars. People think that war is just missiles, bullets. Look, there's wars that can poison you, poison things in the air. These are the things that we are trying to stay away from so we won't have to be flooded up with a whole bunch of vaccines and things like that in ourselves. Come on now. Be aware that this is more than we can't sit around the little beefs that we think that we have. What's going on right now is way more important than what you have stuck in your head about how life is supposed to be for you. It's bigger than that. That's all. It's bigger than that. You got to be careful of the things you do, man. I mean, I can't just sit here and tell you that, you know, it's not going to be worse or things are not going to get better. But hey, who knows? Just be prepared for whatever. It's true. And yeah, the youth, you know, and that's an iffy one. That's an iffy one. The video game shooting and then the youth going into the street shooting. You see, the reason why I say that's iffy because that could all be, I play video games every now and then, and that can be all avoided by this. There's nothing wrong, you know, it shouldn't be anything wrong with a teenager or the youth playing video games with shooting in it and still having a sense of knowing that that only stays on the video game. But nowadays, the amount of time that they put into the video, that becomes their world. So yes, going out and they take themselves outside now and they're in society, their defense will most likely think a weapon even if they don't have one. But that just goes to show you that they don't have that sense of knowing, you know, your parents instill that sense of, you know, what's real and how you're supposed to conduct yourself. There's still something missing from the home. You can't, if it starts with the parents, if the parents then, you know, instill some kind of common sense into their kids and some kind of way, you know, understanding to their kids, then they shouldn't get that game that's shooting anyway. The kids that get the game, the Call of Duties, and the Fortnites, those are the kids that's doing good in school. You don't get the game just because your parents need some time off and they just want to stuff you up in the room. Those are the kids that fall victim to those type of situations. Now the kids that get the game do good grades, and they're more willing. They have understanding because they're passing they're winning on both sides. I'm winning in school as well as winning in the game. Now they have a different sense. They have a balance. But the kids that's just winning in the game, the only accomplishments that they're getting is from that game shooting. When they go to school, they're failing and they're not even paying attention. So now, their mind is more settled on that. That's how that happens. So it's not really always the company or the game fault. No, the game is put in place for people that have the right mindset to play it. That's the trickiness and the thin line between it. Because actually the game is for adults. Certain those shooting games, they're for adults. But some kids get that, accomplishment status, and their parents feel like, I'd rather them at home than outside. But you still at home, you have to guard them too, because it get wicked on those games. People talking all sorts of stuff, especially during politic time, voting time. People are saying all sorts of stuff to your kids. You don't know what's going on in there. So if you don't have the kid with the right mindset, then they're going to fall victim to that too. They're going to fall victim to anything that lures them. Anything. That's not true. That's for some people. You said, well, it's probably. I don't want to say you're wrong on that. You said no one's mature until they are 25 or older. But there might be a science to that says that. But what I could tell you, people mature at different ages. Some kids are forced to mature themselves faster than others because of their environment as well as their upbringing. So when you say at 25, now 25 for a female might be way more mature than 25 for a male. A male, to get that maturity that the female has at 25, might have to wait till 32, 34. And sometimes a kid at 13 and 12 will have a sense of maturity that they can look at an adult making these types of mistakes and be like, wow, that's not the type of, they can figure out which adults to be around. That's when their smarts start kicking in. Because you could always tell a good kid is always ready to make that decision right there and then. It's like, no, yes, no. And they think of their parents. Everything is going into their head at that point. If you don't have enough strength or whatever you taught them, that when they think of you, when these situations come around where they say to themselves, you know what, nah, that's not going to be the best for me, then you might lose your kid to the streets. You might lose your kid to the streets. Because out there, everything looks sweeter. It's in the video games, you get to come back after you kill them, and they get to come back, and you guys get to go at it again. In the streets, not so much. You get shot, you only see the stories, people limping back. You might see a few rappers coming back a little twisted, but usually you could be paralyzed, a shot to the leg, lose your life. A lot of things happen that people don't want to talk about on that end. You might not come back the same if you get shot in the head. You might, there's a lot of things going on. So you got to know how to separate. You got to know how to just at least keep a balance of what is tolerated nowadays and the temperature nowadays. The learning process right now, it's an ongoing thing. It's not like, that's why I say teachers and people in authority, they have to get these salaries raised, because as much as we try to build this budget for America, their leadership for so many years have been, it's still been a light for the kids, man. I don't care how many people tell us, schools, the curriculums are I hear all the talk, but at the end of the day, the overall education is always going to set the standard for being a better person. I don't care what you tell me. You dropping out and you just leaving to do this and do that on your own doesn't necessarily mean that you have it all together. Some people go and they might do it on their own and be successful about it, but most likely their success didn't come from just them leaving. Their success probably came from, they might have had a stronger sense of direction of what they wanted to do. I'm hearing that there's I believe it's a governor or not. She's trying to, for adults, making all community colleges in New York free. And I think that's a great thing. Not only is that a good thing, because look, think about it like this. Learning never stops. So as an adult, some people missed out on time where they wanted to go to college and they couldn't do it. But they have some skills that they got along the way that they might want to, sharpen up, or maybe learn something in another field and get maybe a certificate or a degree for it. Perfect. Make education more acceptable, make it more for everybody and making it free, it gives you the decision if you want to learn. If you have a problem learning at home or you don't have discipline around you, because sometimes we all need a little discipline to give us that little push to learn more. So if you need that, I'm hoping that this plan goes into place, and colleges for I went to 4 colleges actually, but colleges will be free for adults. It's a great thing. Don't skip out on it. If you're an adult and you always had, you wanted to learn more about a certain subject, start researching those things now, because there's a possibility that you might get a chance to hit, and it's only community college. Go to community college, 2 years, it's not a long time. You learn, you get your mind right, and plus you're in a position where you're in a place where you can separate yourself from what's going on in society, because right now it's wicked. Ain't nothing going on out in these streets but people hurting each other. Okay, let me see. Hold on. I was out at 15. That's right. That's right. You know what? Let me see. You're a contractor. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm glad you're here. God must have sent you. Look, listen. You know, you see, you're a perfect example of what I speak about on a daily basis. People like you should be commended and live. You should have your hands in the air, because even though you came from a rough environment, you still put yourself through school. You still wanted to. You were so curious. From what you just told me, it shows me that you're curious about getting better, learning. Look, you're working in the military. You said you're a contractor. Those are still, you got skills, and you picked those skills up because you chose to pick those skills up. The only thing if you want to build on top of what you chose to pick up, you can be a contractor in so many different ways. And not only you got to remember, social media for you will be the digital version. So if you can turn that into digital and make that a learning experience, the things that your story, how you came from, you said foster, and I believe I don't want to mess up your story there. You said, yeah, you was homeless. And you pushed yourself through school. God bless you, man. Because some people, let me tell you, their parents got so much money throwing them in school, and they don't always necessarily take the best out of it. Everybody makes their mistakes, but you take your skills that you have. Nobody can take that away from you, and you can put those skills in so many different places. That's why I say, places like the military, people that work for the military, you guys got to be compensated more. Honestly, I see a lot of people getting paid so much money for nonsense and confusion and making fooling people, that it leads me to think that, what's up with the teachers and the people that's holding people down and really constant. But God bless you, man. You're gonna just keep working and never stop that curiosity that you got. That even though when you started from those beginnings, there's a lot more to go. You're just in the middle of your journey, but there's a lot more surprises to come. See, when you have that curiosity about yourself and you want to learn more and understand more, and you no longer just stick on why you're here. You start moving on, and as you go, you figure it out, man. I like that energy. I like that energy. It don't matter where you start at. It's always about, where you're headed, Forget about where you start at, because 9 out of 10 times, let me tell you something. A lot of these people want everything so instant. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. If somebody threw it all on your lap and you had everything, you had the 2 parents, you had the dog, the cat, the fish, you had Christmas times, the big tree, everything was going your way. And then one day you wake up and you say, who am I? And you try to find yourself. Let me tell you how long that journey would be. Just as long as the journey that you're on, trying to find, why things are the way they are. Because you're learning, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes people get put all the way up there, and that depression of when they have to get pulled down to find themselves, it takes everything out of them. But you just learning and experiencing more new things about yourself, that what makes you a better person. Don't you ever take that away from you. I'm actually going to take a little bit of your energy today, because it just reminds me that, sometimes you might not have the best of start. But sometimes when the gun go off, boom, and everybody start racing, you catch up and you take off and you make your way, man. You make your way, man. I'm happy even that type of energy is listening to me this morning, man. I appreciate that. You don't even know. I really appreciate that. My energy was on mids. I'm trying to bring people together and People still want to, they're forcing this separation, everything we do. And I'm sick of it. I'm totally sick of it, to be honest with you. Now you got me talking what I really, my energy on how I really felt. I mean, everything nowadays you see on people are so for themselves and they don't want to see the light in other people. Well, I see the light in you because I know you came from harsh beginnings and you're at this point right now. I'm trying to get myself in a place where like it's not just about being unbothered, but it's always about like how can I be a better helper or a better, how can I contribute to what's going on, even if I might not have the big stake, a set of money to help people with. Maybe if I can give some word or send people push people in the right direction, maybe that will be, maybe that's it. You know what I mean? Maybe that's it. Maybe it's something else coming that I won't know. But people like you make what I do always worth it to myself, because getting up and trying to explain what's going on with all of this nonsense that's going on, sometimes it holds heavy on your head. So I appreciate you this morning. I appreciate you. Man, man. That's something else. That's something else. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, what's going on with this whole, it's Bad Barbie going, I feel like I said to myself, I don't want to fix my mouth to speak bad on her, because not only is she younger than me, she has a lot more learning to go. And I heard she was saying something about cancer and she's taking medication for it. But I just see Shorty putting herself in so many different places where she don't really have to be. She's around the wrong people. She has a family to raise. She's at a young age and she's dealing with this type of stuff. She's doing nose jobs. She's doing all of these things that just give me a sense that she has some kind of insecurities about herself. And the people around her ain't making it no better. It's kind of like these are things that we have to look at as people and realize that, sometimes it ain't about just forming this family of toxicness, because that toxicness, it takes so long to wipe off. You can't wipe that stuff off, man. It's sad, but sometimes we see what's going on, and being that they're in it and they're dealing with the situation, they can't seem to see what we see. So, if there should ever be a thing she comes across in any one of these videos, just know that, putting yourself in a place where you feel most comfortable and the people around you is going to be always better for you, regardless if you have kids or whatever with whoever. That's just how life is going for these times. Yep. It's a fight on social media when you're trying to be kind to people and you're trying to humble yourself to the point. It's a balance where people, it's a fight. It's like a tug of war, because people look at that and they think they form a whole picture of who you are. But if that is healing to us, that's healing for me, because if I came up here and I was just beefing all the time, and that's self-destruction. That's what you call self-destruction. It's a healing for me, because I'm not always in the best of moods, and I go through a lot of things myself too. But if you come up here and everybody's thinking like that, it doesn't leave that good picture of us. We can't get anywhere like that. We can't. There's no way we can get anywhere like that. Even if I come over here and I have to deal with certain things, I just know if I even watch back, I can get myself with that energy. And another thing, let's talk about this. Why is Tony Busby still going at Jay-Z? Does he know something we don't know, you guys? Because I mean, we see that you don't have all your facts together, and there is some type of money grab attached to it. Why are you still going on with this? See, this is what I always tell you guys about being wrong and strong at the same time. This is when people end up losing. This has turned into, this is not even about the victims anymore. I think Tony Busby not realizing that he's putting himself in the place, and he's not even concentrating that he has people that he really has to get these cases and everything in order. The time is ticking and things are going so fast. When it comes down to the whole Diddy situation, the more I watch these documentaries, the more I can just see that his character was flawed because of himself. So when you see, these are the things you got to concentrate on. He's more concentrating with him. He got this back and forth thing going on with Jay-Z because he he obviously picked the wrong person, or he might not have his facts straight enough to be presented it. And now it's like, what about the people you're supposed to be representing? I don't get it. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? You see the Diddy case. The thing is about to overflow with more people and more people, and now they have this new thing on Diddy. Now I'm hearing that they added on 2 more people. It's like it's what is it? Let me get the proper information for you guys. You think if you and for the people that thought that, okay, yes, they adding more things onto Diddy's case. You know, like all of this all of this stuff, man, it just leads to show you, man, you in the 90s, or whoever they want to call it, the golden era, if you was a victim to any of this nonsense or any of this wickedness, then you right now, I know you're looking for healing. You're probably behind the scenes trying to get yourself together. How many artists go through these same situations from these types of people? This is, it's not, and I'm at the point where it's like, let's when it's time to get this case going, you guys, I know it's gonna be the biggest mess. I don't know. It's not going to be documented like how it's not going to be televised. Excuse me, like how they're doing the Rihanna and ASAP Rocky case. But we're going to see what's really happening with this, because the charges that they have and the more charges that they add on, it just goes to show that these people want to take and put Diddy away for a long, long time. And I think all of this could have been avoided if in those situations Diddy did not take that second to push out there and get people heard and do this and do that. He could have kept it more from a talking standpoint and scaring people standpoint. And he's the one with the $1 billion. He's not. These people are not. We don't bump into billionaires every single day. Come on, you guys. He had enough. He had enough. He should have had enough, common sense to know that these people are not going to bump into him. All of this had to do with this fake power people want to put on. And like I always tell you, when they get this little piece of power, that's why it's so scary. Some people in our black culture out there in these high points, because if they're not trusted, they turn around and start inflicting it on their own people. Now, anybody that, if you're from other cultures, I know y'all not dealing with this. Y'all have other things that you guys deal with as well. But just to stay on the point of this is the reason why things go the way it goes. Because him just doing all of that nonsense outside and getting people hurt, this business type of gangster mindset, where did it lead you? Your legacy, it's wiped away. Bad Boy, I don't even want to hear the Bad Boy name anymore. I only listen to the Biggie. And the rest of that stuff, it's like, come on. There's enough music to go around without me having to even think about all the horror you put people through. I don't care how many people are fans of you and this and that. That's a problem that people, they have to start realizing. Don't attach yourself to these wicked people, because their karma is going to start to attach to you. Their ideologies, the way they see things. Why don't you think half of these people don't believe in God? Think about it. They don't believe in God because they not only don't know themselves, they don't believe in themselves, but the way they were raised was, it's on a different type of situation. You don't want to go down the road of that. It leaves you hollow inside. I don't care if this man gets out. The fact that he had to be in prison from the time they took him up until this point, it just goes to show you that the power that you thought you have, it only could work when you're hurting your own people. I mean, let's take another look at how these situations go. And this is the reason why you can't get mad at somebody from your culture not believing in you, because you can't trust in our own people. If on a daily day basis we see more of us killing us, what do you think that we're going to do? Point the finger at somebody else's culture? No, their culture might be locking us up, but they ain't killing us. And if there are wicked, there's wicked people in everybody's culture. And if they are taking the standpoint of just aiming and trying to kill us, then that will be more highlighted. You would see more of it. But now what we see the youth picking up the pistols and going to school with it. If they don't get caught in school, they're using the pistols on the first fight that they encounter. They're using the pistol. First fight. You're not going to be fighting with a pistol in your pocket. Come on now, that don't even make sense. So you're putting yourself in a way of getting hurt by your own weapon. It doesn't make sense. So you can just tell where their mindset's at. Just the other night in Brooklyn, I believe it was another shooting. People don't know. And then, we take on this role of, I don't understand why black businesses and the culture is not, the reason why the culture is not rising, the reason why you're not making money in whatever you're selling is because we don't have trust in each other. That's the reason why. If I can't trust you because just the other week you told everybody on your platform what you was doing, and then you went across, you went this way, and you turned around, did the total opposite. What makes you think I want to buy whatever you're selling? Are you serious? You think that the people out here on social media are that stupid or that silly enough to try to erase what you said last week and just buy into you next week? You have to be more mindful of the things you're doing and the people you're talking to. Being disrespectful to another person's culture, and you think that you're going to get up on there and get sponsored by that, the same person you disrespected, those sponsors of that same culture, and you think you're going to get that sponsorship? Are you going to jump on live, talk all a whole bunch of people and expect people to slap up an ad on it and you get paid and you go off along your way? You think that's where this thing is going? Be more respectful, and you have to have some discipline when you come on these social media sites, because at the end of the day, how you put yourself out there is that's the painted picture of yourself. Nobody else but you. If you want to put your behind and shake your behind all on camera every single day, when you walk down the street and somebody will go over there and slap your behind, don't make it a surprise. Yeah, it's wrong, but don't be surprised by it, sweetheart. Don't be surprised. That man could have had a phone watching you, shaking your behind. When you're shaking your behind and everybody looking, you think that everybody in the crowd is going to have some this? No, some of us could go past that and they won't. But some people out here, they're perverts. They're doing things to people. Don't you see the sexual abuse and domestic abuse, all that thing? That's on the up and up. That the rates of that is not going down. Don't let nobody fool you. It's not going down, because the same mental health help that they need outside of the home, they need that inside the home to keep to keep from divorcing and all the nonsense that's going on. I told you, these people out here swear they love each other. You're gonna see Valentine's Day, you're gonna see them all hugged up, this and that. But by the time Valentine's Day is over, the next day, behind closed doors, they get their behind beat. So all the smiling and all that, they don't fool nobody. It don't fool nobody. If you don't have the real love, you would have knew better than even try to bring that up on social media, because a lot of people are selfish when they get that real love. They don't want to be around people that don't got it. Think about it. And on another note, I don't know what's going on with this whole Tiger and back and forth situation, but what I could tell you, Tiger, you are on the line of going down that Diddy path. Your date is something with you. I don't know how old you are, but from what I heard about you and your past experiences, you've been dating younger and younger. You better get yourself off of that stuff, man. You better get your mind right, man. Dating young kids and doing all of that. Look, listen. I know it's like I would call you're a borderline dater. You know you want that 17, but you're right there on 18 and 19, and you're up in your 30s or something like that. I don't even know if you're pushing 40. You got to do better than that. Stop taking on that ideology. You have to. Entertainment has that. You can't fool everybody, but the only people you can fool at a lower age. You think us as men don't know what you're doing? Come on now. You got your baby mother was younger when you met. Everybody was like, you kind of met her before. We heard the conversations, and now you pop up in these conversations with these young folks. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with these people? Why they dating so young? Like, it's nothing wrong with. I know they're legal, but at the end of the day, it's like, come on, step it up a little bit. You can't have the reason why you can't have that kid mentality with a grown woman. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. But you got to get off of that stuff. Grow up. Because if you find yourself in anything to do, any sexual or any domestic, the younger it gets, is going to be the worse for you. You're going to find yourself in the same position as Diddy and these people with all this sex trafficking going back and forth. It wouldn't have been sex trafficking if it was grown women, because they would have made that decision up. When you start influencing younger minds, that's what's going to put yourself in prison for the longest of time. I don't care what anybody tell you. It is sad. Everybody want this, like, they only want to go in the beginning parts of the day. They don't want to do the time and to build with people. It's not how it's working. It's not going to be good for you. Don't think by any chance that you're doing something right by keep dating younger and younger. You're not fooling anybody. Come on now. Oh, my passion for older movies? Man, I love movies. Let me see. For older movies, let me see. It depends. Like, we can take. I like a lot of movies, man. I like Scarface. I like. It don't even have to be like that. I like Big. I like Life. I'm a movie junkie, man. You gotta tell me a movie what's give me your top 3 movies, and I could tell you know it's certain movies that it moved me different, and I could even do it up to recent movies, like recent ones that were really older ones than that. Movies, Goonies, um, Rocky. I don't know. I like a lot of movies, man. I like a lot of movies. What's the name of that? Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. I never seen that movie, Mrs. Minifer. I never seen that movie. That's crazy. What's that about? Cause I would definitely go look that up. Yeah, man, I'm a movie junkie. I love a lot of movies, man. A lot of movies. Nowadays, I see the movies that it has like a different switch when it comes down to just the capturing the like the wildness. But I like movies where it has like a build up and then there's the wow factor. Nowadays, it's like they want a wow factor, everything right in your face just to keep you in that seat. But movies with a more in depth story, I love movies like that. I gotta check that out. Could you please, when this is over, could you just don't forget to leave that in my comment section, that name of that movie, please. Oh, you know, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of movies. I couldn't, you know, there's a lot England. There's a lot of movies in England that I was in my college time that I was watching too. But I want to check that movie out that you're talking about. I'll check it out. Is it drama? Is it what is it? What type of movie is it? Action? What is it? Oh no no no. After so we could leave it. It's all good. After so we could leave it in the comment area so I could just look it up. Whenever on the channel, you can leave it on any comment, just on any comment of one of my videos, not because after this is over, I guess I don't have the hookup. Sometimes I see people, you know, with their chat going up and down on the side. I'm gonna get to that. I'll work that out, and so we can get that going. But usually when I cut this off and you guys go, I don't see you again until we meet next time. You know, I don't see what y'all said or anything, so I try to keep everything in my memory. Oh, it's drama. It's literally about World War II in England. I gotta check that out. I love war movies. Wow. I can't believe I missed that one. Are you serious? Let me see the name of that again. Hold on. I gotta check that out. I'm gonna look it up. Wow. But yeah, man, I love a lot of movies. I love different types. You know, you know, one thing I remember, just staying on the Diddy subject, not to just jump back on that, but you remember when Diddy had that movie and he was like this, everybody was like trying to work for him. It was like some movie, and then there was like they had like these roofies and things in it. It kind of like that. Some of that stuff kind of played out in his life. That's kind of crazy. Sometimes maybe, and he acted. That was like his best acting too in that. It was funny movie. He was maybe because that was a part of who he was. Hopefully that man can get some help though while he in there. It's not just about putting people away for the rest of their life and things like that. Sometimes it's about rehabilitation and getting people back to where people at least think that they're, you know, their mindset is right. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out some movies today though. Um, with just so much have been happening, it had just had me thinking like, you know, the topics. I was a little less on the topics and more on the community today because it's just a lot of things going on. I see a lot of gun violence and things like that. People ain't gonna stop until you know they get like the worst situation. That's what it looks like. I don't know, man. I don't know. And another thing, I think I seen this. Just checking. I'm not sure if it's the whole album, but I did see Jim Jones. Is it Jomo? Is it? I don't know if that's a song. If he just totally dropped the album, I'm gonna go check that out. Um, I heard he did a remix with L's on it and things like that. So once I think that's what people should do. That if you're there to make music, make more music. Keep that flow of things going, and just make that the thing because everybody wants to jump on social media, but not everybody is jumping on social media and doing the right things. I feel like if you're an artist and you're making music, I think that's one of the best ways to be consistent and just keep knocking at the door. We know Jimmy for making good music in the past. It's just a different demographic, so it's all about your base and who you're feeding your music to. And sometimes it's not. To me, it's not really about the numbers. It's really more about the impact. And we learn these things from like artists like 50 Cent. Yeah, 50 might have not had the most amount of albums, but the time 50, hit the game, that impact is so legendary and it'll be here forever and ever. When you come to New York, you think of a few rappers, one of those rappers you're gonna think about is gonna be 50 Cent. And it's because that hard work and dedication, we need to take some of that and take that along with whatever we're doing. You notice that every time 50 Cent, he might take a fall and then he jumps right back up. That's just the balance of life, man. That's one thing I take from when it comes down to rappers and impact. 50 Cent. Don't forget that because that impact, still that energy that he keeps around himself and his story. Remember, it's all about the story on the entry. And when people buy into that story, that is gonna keep you sustained through the game. And now you see that 50 Cent can still jump on these stages and still speak to young folks as well as older folks and continuing on. And it's not just about an individual song that he made, really. It's all about his story and what he stood for. Because if somebody says, if somebody's not knowing of him and they're like, yo, who's that performing on stage, yo? And they're like, oh, that's 50 Cent. Who? I don't know 50 Cent. Oh, this real quick, they can give you a briefing. Oh, no, he got shot 9 times on his way up and then he signed with Eminem. They can give you his timeline within like that, with just like that, because his story is implanted in his music. So at the end of the day, you have to be that impactful in whatever you do. It does just take his hustle and apply it to whatever you do. It doesn't have to be music. It could just be saying, you know what? I don't have to knock at this door all day. I could keep knocking at this door at the same time building this one over here just in case this never opens. Take that from him. Oh, I love Black Moon. Yeah, he's a good guy. It's and let me tell you, sometimes it's not just about being a good guy, bad guy. It's all about kind of like you find understanding and growth. Like the first 50 Cent on his entry, yeah, this approaching, being approachable, and maybe where he's at now, it might have not been the same. But his growth and his understanding of what it was, that's what makes him who he is. See, you notice how like when a lot of these rappers, I always say this. This is a jewel you can always take with you too. A lot of these rappers, they have to dress the part. Fifth don't really got to do that. Fifth can just throw in a hoodie, come through, and it's still presentable because people know who you are. And who you are is never going to be blurry because you made that so clear to people. And we've seen your growth. It's not about just growing with your music. You have to grow as a person. Some artists, they grow, 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 but their music is still stuck in that little high schoolish type of mentality. No, sometimes you got to turn that around, man. You got to really turn it around. You got to really turn it around and be a force to be reckoned. You know what I mean? When you enter anywhere, you want your presence to be known for the good things and the right things about you. Even if you got to scream to the top of your lungs, when they're saying, what are you saying? You make sure it's clear enough for them to understand it and they'll know who you are. So guys like that, I give a little extras to them. I'm hearing there's something I didn't really want to, but being that we're speaking on 50, there's a paparazzi that's saying that Fifth hit the when you're coming out from your show and you might be running into the Uber or whatever, you see the artists running to celebrities going to the Uber just to get where they gotta go. They had a back and forth, the paparazzi out there, and the guy said, he's suing 50 because the door hit him and he fell and this and that. But that's the level of, you have to be thinking that man has to be that much precautious because every corner he turns, if he does something that's out of, out of the norm, somebody's going to sue him and take this from him, and it's going to be that, easy to do that. That takes discipline. That in it within itself disciplines you to say, wait, hold on. You know what? This person, he wasn't actually here to harm me. If I didn't say anything at all, I would have avoided this. And the more you build and grow like that, you start becoming unbothered. No matter what, even if you fall down, you get back up. I know I got this to do. It's be that guy. Don't be the guy that, don't be the first 50 Cent that came in the game ready to aim at everybody, because at the end of the day, you have to realize there's growth in everybody. Everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody needs to grow. Where we come from out here in Queens, not everybody is on the same, some people don't see it like the way I see it. Some people see it with that it feels like it's all turmoil and we're at war and people are after us and we're not getting this, we're not getting that. But at the same point, you still hold a level of respect because you know that there's somebody out there, even if you don't got it figured out, there's somebody around you that got it figured out, And we from the same area, and that's one of the people that we hold up, because we don't know what it is when you go into the industry. You don't know what you have to deal with, the people you encounter and what they want from you or want to do to you. But you got to be that strong enough to know that when you get there, you always stay with the people that you came rocking with, and you try to make your way through it. And whatever happens, you guys divvy it up as a team, as a family, and that's how it go, If it wasn't for that man, a lot of people behind him wouldn't have made it. Some people would have been dead by now. It's a lot of things. It's a lifesaver when one person gets an opportunity and then he helps out his people or the people that surround him. There's blessings within that. I never hear no stories about he didn't bless nobody or he only did this. These are the things that really count for. Not the guys that come around and say, oh, I'm going to drop some turkeys, this and that, because in the long run, just doing that for people, they see you here and there once in a while. Look, man, at the end of the day, that's just like a marketing for yourself to make money. We really want the guys that touch the people and the people that could say, you know what, I get what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. It's that level of understanding, man. A lot of dudes now, they get in arguments. You see a lot of these content creators, they get in here and start arguing, but they don't realize that both of them, they're not ready to clear their points. One might be wrong, he might be right. He want to be right, and he don't want to. They don't want to. It's no solutions to these arguments. If you have some sense of understanding, you're like, you know what, my bad. You're right. I understand. I see what you're saying. Yeah, we all have different walks of life. This is how it can. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. So a lot of these guys is what they, it's what you look for in people. Some people look at 50 Cent and they just want to look at for the strength and what he did and hurt this and that. And some people look like, how he getting through that? How did he get through that? Oh, I understand why he's like, okay, yeah. You see people, I've seen that they had some funny talks about, when Cameron asked them the question, and that's just him being himself. He told you what it was. He didn't go around it, cookie cut it. He said, no, this is what it was. And he played his move. That's fifth. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that comes wrong with that, if you have a crack within your system, that what he's saying hurts you. Common sense. Oh, I appreciated you. I really appreciate you, man. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. We'll talk again. And I'll have more movies on the list for you to let you know how diverse I am and when it comes to movies. From way back to up till now, we'll chop it up. Oh, and Back to the Future. Every part, even the cowboy one. I love them all. It's just things that I've been raised upon, man. Yeah, we can chop it up. I really appreciate you this morning, man. You go do what you got to do. Just enjoy the day, man. It's Friday. We're going into the weekend. Blessings. You already know. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Yeah, man. It's one of them days, man. Friday, I'm feeling good. A lot happening, but I feel bad for the families that lost, And that's why I always tell you guys, don't get into worrying about, what race people are from, this and that. On that plane that when it crashed, it has so many different culture, ethnic backgrounds, different groups, people that, people love up there, man. It doesn't matter the skin color and all of that stuff. That's just a person thinking with low energy. Always think about that's a person with a heartbeat, a family, and it's something you never forget, man. Tragedy is something you never forget. Anything can happen at any time. Once we start realizing these things, we start looking at life completely different, completely different. It's gonna take a while for everybody to get there, but we gonna all get there. We gonna all get there. Oh, you know what I wanted to tell you guys too? This is between us. You see all these people attaching themselves to like material things, right? Now, once a person sees that you're attached to all these material items and you need this and you need that to put a smile on your face, what do you think gonna happen? Those same owners of those companies, those are the ones that's gonna be able to control those people because they know without their products, those people can't operate at their best. So these are all these controlling factors these people don't understand. They're talking about, they pointing the finger at one person and saying, oh, they don't like us. But meanwhile, oh, so many people are in control of these people's life and they don't even know it. From the people that's watching the subscriptions to the people that's telling them, oh, take this, do that, do this, do that, wear this, wear that. And they feel like when they wear it, that's when they feel their sense of themselves. Oh, well, you're gonna have to pay a big price for that. A big price for that. If somebody is putting something on you to make you feel like who you are, well, you got to know that that's almost like crack. You're going to be addicted to following that owner and whatever moves they make. So you might as well just jump online and whatever is next to come, you might as well just get ready and jump into it. That's not how life works. Don't let people control you with the things that you think you need. Those are the things that's going to really put you in the coffin. The things that you need of value of yourself, you already have those. Everything else is just a bonus. Some people, they come into life and they don't have the best starting, but they always have the best endings. You know why? Because they find a sense of themselves and they want to find a sense of what their placement is in this world. Some people get lost in it like, oh, I'm nobody, and they start taking that momentum on, and now they don't even want to find themselves. They don't want to discover new things. They want to just sit around, point the finger, and feel comfortable in this puddle of depression. That ain't how we giving it up. We're not trying to give it up like that. We're trying to find new things. As the world is changing, as people, we are changing too. That's why a lot of these relationships don't even work. I always tell you guys, people are looking for the wrong things. They don't even know what love really is at this point. At this point, love looks to them as like money, being rich, and just in like a relationship. I've seen grown people call their spouses like boyfriend, girlfriend, and we got to get past that. We got to start realizing that treat people, that's your man, that's your woman, you have to have respect. Don't go out here and just feed yourself to what people think they're supposed to be. Look how a lot of these relationships, all we hear in the end is, oh, they're getting divorced or this thing, so they owe this money or they taking this from them. Come on now. Look at Jeezy and his, I don't know if he had married her, but I think he did marry her and they just a fresh couple, and they couldn't keep it together. They couldn't keep it together. I'm talking about they ready to move on the other sides of the world from each other because of what? It's definitely a miscommunication, or if it's not that, they should have never got together in the first place because that sense of attraction or whatever they thought, that infatuation they thought it was, that's not what a relationship is about. Just looking good together, that's not what a relationship is about. 9 out of 10 times, the people that look good together are made for 2 other people. That's just how it goes. You're just an advertisement for that person to get where they have to go. Don't be that advertisement. You want to be the real thing. You want to be the person at home saying, no, we do that too. You know, be there for your peoples and stop going out here and taking the easy route of everything. That's what Donald Trump was real. Concentrate on the things that Donald Trump is saying that could be beneficial to you. Trust and loyalty, all of that stuff that comes from talent, intellect, intelligence. All of that stuff is what I've been telling you guys about. If it's just like hip hop. If anybody could rap, where's the value in that? If the worst rapper and the best rapper are making the same amount of money, where's the value in that? There's going to be a lot more people that can't do it that's going to fill that pot than the people that could do it with the talent. So now when that gets wiped out the way, when these people come in to pay and they want to know who's the person that's driving the most audience, yeah, that person at the bottom with no cares about the culture, yeah, they can be awarded with sponsorship because of the fact of their views, their numbers, and things like that. You got to stay away from that. Now, these companies are starting to wisen up, and they're starting to pay attention to the audience that content creators having. It's not just an audience that, because it's just, you can have 100 million people in the audience. If those 100 million people are not there for buying into products, or they're just listening to negativity, that's not going to run you into money. That only puts the constant, whatever that person is trying to sell, or whatever ads they're trying to put on top of your video now, it's going to be low tier. It's not going to be like, because usually the people that's arguing, they can't get their life together. The people that is trying to somewhat figure it out, they have more, you have a better chances of selling them some products, or selling them the best, because of the audience that you attract. If you have an audience that's a low sell audience, it's because the audience that they're only there to hear the nonsense. And not, it's not just content. Those companies, they're starting to realize they want to push their certain ads with people that don't use profanity, people that don't go out there bad mouthing everybody on their lives, people that's just not putting videos out. Because let me tell you something, you go bad mouth somebody and they're part of a company, where does that leave the ads on your channel? It leaves you out of here. You have to be mindful of what you say, and if you're going to be talking down on people and talking this and that, just know that you're not going to get all your worth. You're not going to get your message across. A lot of people nowadays are just taking it and they're just throwing it away. It's opportunity being thrown away from people that don't have no value in themselves. It's just like when somebody comes, you want to put it in drug terms, let's go. Somebody standing on the block, they've been working, they got a schedule working out, and then somebody, just because they have a bigger connect, they come around now, sell it at a lower price. Now there's friction, now these two groups are going at each other, somebody pops up dead, and the story goes on and on and on. Does it sound familiar? Yes, it's because it's a lack of communication. It happens in business, it happens every single place. We can take that same person standing on that corner and turn it into Google. Google, they took their browsers to the extreme. They wanted everything to be called Google, but it pushes out, the antitrust pushes out everybody else that has web browsing that they want other customers to use. But being that Google is flooding up the market, that's antitrust. Now you're doing too much. In other words, be careful. If you know America is built on business, make sure that whatever business you got going in America, you're doing it the right way. All the crime, the stealing, the insurance frauds, all of that stuff with the money up to the air, you think the government don't know what's going on? You think the feds don't know what's going on with these people when they see them a whole bunch of money and they can't point out a place where they earned it at? So who is that entertaining to? Low tier. Because just because you have I'm pretty sure if they lined up the amount of money you have in your bank account and they put it on the table, yeah, it would look crazy. But now you're getting it off the table to save your life, to put it back in the bank. You can get killed for that money. Keep your money in the bank and stop trying to show off to people that don't have more than you are, or even that type of thinking. Because those are for low tier people. All that belittling, all that nonsense. Those are people, they don't have no sense of education of how to treat people. So when things happen to them along their way, along their journey, they never know why it happened. They never know anything. It's how you treat people. You'll see, man. You'll see. You'll be so surprised. You thinking that, look, man, a lot of these, media is going to have more of these people in prison than they even think. The crimes, they're being solved at a faster pace now. We see with the AI, is being solved at a faster pace. We've seen a lot of the AI it's more being used, if y'all don't realize, for security right now at this point. Because the jobs and things like that, people, we have our own mental issues we're keeping up with, where we're trying to solve. And as society would tell it, look, people are going through their things too. So when they're going off to their work, you can't, in these times, you can't expect the best foot forward. That minimum energy, that bare minimum energy is reeking all around the place. And we need more than that. For us to put up a better effort, everybody has to feel equal, compensated, and feeling good, and they're working for their family, working whatever their goals they have to accomplish. You don't want to look at your check and it almost make you cry, do you? No. So what we got to all open up this budget and work together. Forget about who's better than so-and-so and who got this to sell, because a lot of the times, all these little sweet voices, those are the people that's going to get you guys in trouble, because y'all thinking the people, it's a look, as a good person, it's not about how they look. It's about how they treat people. And the more you hear about a lot of these people, yeah, in front of the camera they this and that, but behind the scenes, people over there whispering about them, how they did this to that person. Did look, I'm not with the separation. Whenever I hear somebody just separating a certain group of people, I don't even pay attention or watch those type of videos. I only listen to the people that, you know, have some trying to figure out in a way we can all make this thing work for everybody. So before I get out of here, I want y'all to take that with you. Stop pointing at Donald Trump, bad mouthing people on when they're trying to do the right and do the right thing. Because at the end of the day, just because it doesn't go your way doesn't mean that things won't work out. America wasn't just built for you. You're here just like the rest of us, and we see what's going on, but if we don't find some way to work things out, all of this fussing back and forth, worrying about who's racist or who that, look, man, stop labeling people these harsh things. Stop doing that. Because at the end of the day, the person that you really should be pointing out are the people that's close to you, because those are only people that in 90% chance you have a chance of getting hurt by, not the people that you don't know. Stop it. Stop with that low tier energy, and you pack yourself up and go somewhere if you got that type of energy coming on social media with your miseducated self. You want to present yourself as somebody that knows something, make sure you know something and bring it to the table. But don't just come up here with the same fussing and fighting that they was doing in the 60s when we can get past that by just thinking better. This is deeper than just racism. This is not about just racism. This is something that classism and all of this narcissistic people that's thinking that people are items. This is what's been ruining the world for the longest. Yeah, everybody wants stocks and bonds, but don't you want to live out your life happy too? Yes. Don't you know people in the past, you know, a lot of people, they passed away happy, and it wasn't had anything to do with money. So it's all about how you're living and how people are treating you in your area. Is there a place where we can all survive, where everybody doesn't have to like strive to be a billionaire? Not everybody wants to be a billionaire. When you hear somebody say, I want to be a billionaire, and they don't tell you what they're trying to do or they have any goals, run from that person, because you know just at that point, that person do anything, even step on you to get what they got done. Stay away from these type of people. The game of hip hop has people thinking that the more money you have makes you more better or are you more talented. It's not true at all. It's not true at all. Some of the most talented rappers of all time don't have the most of money, or been compensated later on from the time that they started their career. And that's due to other things come into play, like, you know, sponsorships and them being an entrepreneur outside of hip hop. So wake up and understand that life is not going to be always what you think it's going to be, but some way, somehow you got to work within it. I'm not mad if another group it's like, if I see Jewish people sticking together and they fighting for their people, that doesn't get me mad. That makes me feel like, wow, I like that. We need some of that. It don't make me feel like, oh, they got their nose in the air. No, they don't. No. Stop pointing the finger when you don't know people's culture. They fight for who they fight for. That's just how they give it up. We should have more structure in our culture to know who is who in what we're doing. Stop putting this weight on people's head that you know they can't fit those stages because they know they can only stand for what they do, music. Don't put them in a position of other places so you can judge them from that, because they don't know any better. Some of these artists will only they want to take as much money as they can at this point in time in their career because they've been gypped or whatever. Some people took money out of their pocket, so they'll do any and everything like Squid Games to get a piece of change. And those are the guys that's not raised right. So the only argument they'll have to fight with is money, money, money. I got more than this than you. Look how I'm living. No, that's not. It's not about how you living, dude. It's about how you're feeling. Yeah, we all living. We waking up, we living. But how you feeling? When I say how you doing, and don't tell me how much money you got. Tell me how you feeling here. How's your mental going? And those are the things that for me, enlightens the conversation. Not just telling me how much money you have. Because just telling me how much money you have just goes to show me how hollow you really are. You have no sense of care for your own people. I've been telling you this all from the start. People that love you don't treat you like that. People that don't know what love is don't understand how a person's going to treat them. They don't know how to feel. Find yourself in a place where love could be your surrounding, and that could be a part of your decisions before you make them. And then you'll have a better life. Stop worrying about how much money people have. Anything can happen. You could win the lotto today or go bankrupt tomorrow. It's life, all right? Love you guys, man. It's Friday. Enjoy yourself. Talk to a stranger, wear a new color, feel good about yourself. Why not? We living, right?